started working here a year ago. I had heard all this. Well, I started working here a year ago. Been a loyal client 3+ years. We've been open for 4 years. So I heard all the stories. Us employees and clients, all have had things happen, have had their own accounts. So I was waiting for my first one. My first one that I had was actually in my boss's office is where it occurred. I was in the back just doing some chores, cleaning around, and this building, as you would your own home, or unfortunately if you're at your job too much, you know the sounds of a building, especially if it's older. The doors creak a certain way, the floors creak a certain way. So I hear my boss's office door open. I hear his heavy steps go into the door, and he must have been in a hurry and whatnot. He didn't even greet me or anybody else that I had heard. So he goes in the office, I hear him rummaging around. He's going through his paperwork. He must have forgot an outstanding bill or something, and I needed something from either him or the office. I go to call out his name. He didn't hear me. So I go and I knock on the office door. No response. I call his name. I knock on the door again. Still no response. So at that point, I open the door. Come to find out, the lights were off. Now, it's not uncommon for the people that I work with to try to mess with me, so I assumed maybe it had been a prank. Go to flip the light on. Actually, there was nobody in the office. However, there was a nice, lovely trail of paperwork from one side of his office, sprawled all the way across the office to the opposite side of the office. Yes, covering the whole office. And that probably wouldn't have been a big deal if it wasn't for the fact that I had just been in there maybe 10 minutes or so prior, and there definitely was not paperwork thrown across the room. That was my first account. I actually just had my second personal account here. Happened not too long ago. We had a woman who is a regular here. I was in the back of the building sweeping. I had a broom in hand. She excused herself to the restroom, which is where that is located. I hear her shut the door and lock it behind her. And immediately after, the door flings open. I assume that she maybe left her phone or something and she swung a quick U-turn. But when I saw her face, all right, happy Halloween! They're in the spirit. I saw this girl's face. She looked pretty shook up. I asked her if she was okay. She said that she actually didn't open the door and that it flung open on its own after she locked it. I thought that she was maybe implying that I was messing with her, so I assured her that I was 10+ feet back on the opposite corner of the room, still broom in my hand, so I had no way of opening that door on my own. And she confirmed, she said, no, I know you didn't open this door. So me and somebody else actually got to witness that. That was fun. I actually just got reminded today by one of my coworkers who's been here longer than I have. They were sitting, it was my coworker and our boss, was sitting in this chair where this lovely werewolf that is in dire need of a haircut from us is sitting. And barber's giving the owner a beard trim. They're cutting up like you do in a usual barber shop. And while they're talking, they both, out of the corner of their eyes at the same time, see on his station there's a cup that holds barber shears. One of the shears decided to come up out of the cup, move over at a 90-degree angle, and then go straight down and on the station. It wasn't just a in the cup fall over, it was completely up, over, down. They both witnessed it, and they don't even really consider themselves huge believers or anything. I'm probably the most open-minded person that works here. So, gotcha. Fun stuff like that. If you guys have any more questions or anything, I'm more than happy to share fun stories, but I'd love for us to go ahead and jump into this if that's okay with you guys. Yeah. And with that, I'll welcome you all to the gentleman's quarters. Come on in.
Probably 10% of what we actually have. And Rob, excuse me, Robert's nodding his head. Just so you know, Rob and Alex, they come to our events a lot. They're big fans of ours, so we love them.
Hello.
So we actually have $26,000 worth of paranormal equipment. It overtakes my home. It is going to contention. However, it is what? I have all of them. I'm sorry.
You don't have a card. Just write the phone number now.
Or, yeah, I don't have anything. I'm sorry. Okay, he's got some cool evidence that he just took. There are prior ghost So, you know, like I said, Chris has been doing this for 22 years. Chris and I travel across the country doing this. And we actually purchase these things so you guys can use them for you. Because what's the point of us ghost hunting if you don't have your own equipment? So, does anyone know? That is out of batteries. Does anyone know what this is? Go ahead.
It's an EMF detector.
Yes, or what's better, or this one in particular is known as a K2 meter.
K2.
So this is Ghost Hunting 101. You're going to see this on every ghost hunting show. You're going to see every paranormal investigator have one. This is probably the, like, if you were just about to start and wanted to paranormal investigate, I would hand you one of these and say, this is your tool. I use this every time I investigate. And this tool actually has a purpose outside of ghost hunting. This is an electrician's tool, and this is what they use when they're measuring electromagnetic fields in the vicinity. So obviously if I go up and I stand next to an electronic outlet, it's going to give me all types of readings. That is not what we're going to use this for. Electricians use this during the day, ghost hunters use this at night. So at night...
Oh, he's so strong.
Sorry. You big door. Impressive. At night, when we are in a room and we know that all of our phones are on airplane mode, and we like to get a baseline reading, and we will utilize this tool often. And I've had many communications where this has lit up. Another thing I always like to say, we're not communicating with ghosts right now. This is why you don't have your cell phone not on airplane mode when you're doing a paranormal investigation, because I would be getting a whole lot of false positives, okay? It's very easy to get false positives with these, so a big part of ghost hunting is debunking. We also have what's called EMF readers. The K2 and the EMFs are basically the same tool. The only difference is that these are digital, and also these will also read temperature. Okay. Another theory, and I'm going to use the word theory because this is not a proven science, although it is a lot of times perfected. It's just not proven. We use these because it can tell the temperature for us. So if there's a drastic drop or a drastic rise in temperature, then the theory is that a spirit is manifesting its energy and utilizing the heat or the temperature around us in order to communicate, right? So there's those. Another really fun thing, these are always a hit at parties, but ghost hunters, paranormal investigators use laser grids all the time. Chris has a $300 one, and it also will show you, it will actually show you the temperature reading in combined with this. But this, I actually have this one in my own kit. So we use this because the spirit goes in front, pretty easy to tell, right? Plus it looks really great in pictures if you want to impress your friends that you're ghost hunting. Another thing that every ghost hunter, I believe, should have are voice recorders. Who knows what an EVP is? EVP, I know you guys know. An EVP is what's called electronic voice phenomenon. And this is a very common practice in paranormal investigating. So the theory goes that spirits will communicate in levels that we cannot hear with the human ear. So to help us, we use electronics. Again, they manifest with electronic energy. So you ask questions, you pause, you ask questions, you pause. That's called, this is a very common practice. You go back and you listen. Chris has gotten some amazing Class A EVPs over his career. I have gotten some really cool Class A EVPs. Class A is when you actually hear them directly communicate. Do you want to tell them about real quick about the mace stringer?
Oh, for instance, mace stringer, if you ever heard of mace stringer, Brooksville, it's one of the most top 10 haunted in the U.S.
We're going there next weekend, but it is sold out.
This is going back probably 12 years, but I was watching the video and I kept looking and the mirror kept moving. So I gave it to one of my teammates and I said, can you watch this? Because the mirror keeps moving. Come to find out, we debunked that because the building's so old, every time someone was going down the steps, it would shake the wall so the mirror would shake. I missed that. I've been doing it 22 years, so we're going back. I was doing it like 8 years at the time, whatever, when it happened.
On camera too.
But then he goes, but did you hear the EVPs? I said, what are you talking about, dude? So he played it back, and on camera you see everybody going down the stairs that's in the building leaving. So no one's there.
No one's in the room.
You see everyone in front of you, so no one's in where the camera's set up. And as people are walking by, it goes, they had this on their website for probably 7 years, and then just recently someone hacked it with porn. Why do you hack porn on paranormal stuff? I don't know. So they just recently took it off the site. But anyway,
I actually, I
as
have
people-
a theory it's jealous, someone's jealous.
yeah, we think we know who. But anyway, so every time someone walks front, this is what you heard. It goes, someone walks in front, all you hear is, out. And then it goes, I said, out. Said, get out. And then I think it was me that walked by, the last one, it said, out. Plain as day, Class A EVP. I played that for Jason and Grant from Ghost Hunters, and Steve, all three of them. And they're like, oh my God, we've never got a sentence like this ever.
Yeah.
And we didn't doctor or nothing.
The Main Stringer had that on the front page of their website for almost 7 years. So, so EVPs are a big part of how we investigate. Okay, so everyone should have a little voice recorder. Flashlights go without saying. Everyone forgets them. They're like the most important thing you'll ever have. And then also we also have what's called spirit boxes, where we utilize the Estes method. We just did that in the group beforehand.
And I'm surprised at what we got here from what I can hear. First time anyone's ever really investigated here, and they're like, questions were being answered.
This is the most amount of people that's even been in this building at nighttime that I know of, at least for a long time. So we're like almost breaking history, and then that was cool for us to do the investigation and hear what we heard.
Right, and 2 things real quick about the building itself. You are going to get part of it with the tour when we go out and do the tour, but I just want, while we're in here so it's easier, because this building is actually, we'll say it in the tour, but I'm going to do it real quick not to mess up the tour, but this is the first brick building ever built in Zephyrhills, and the first building that ever had electricity. Okay.
That's pretty dope.
No, I'm not giving them all the stuff.
Yeah, don't
Anyway,
hit us with all the facts.
so with that being said, it was a drugstore. And these are,
Oh, go ahead.
these are the original windows from when it was open. And actually on the left where you could smell wood. You can smell the burnt of wood from when there was a fire here. That's all original. Now, it being a drugstore, there was a lot of robberies, so you can't see it, but I'm going to show you. He used to take his all his medicines and stuff, and he would store them. It's hollow right here. There's like a basement under the floor where he used to store them, and they covered over the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Then when we go to the back, or we can all go to the back while I give it real quick.
Yeah, this is really cool.
Go and sit down.
But,
Hey, this is how we get our ghosts.
so, next door used to be, it used to be Hotel Zephyr, and then the First Bank, First States Bank. Next door. There was a shootout in, I think, 1918. I believe it was 1918. I might be off a couple of years on the
17 or 18.
something like that. 21 bullets were shot. A shotgun was used and just regular handguns. At that point, this building stopped here. This is all add-on. So this chimney here was there when the building was robbed. So a gentleman got killed. His name was
A.B. Storms.
A.B. Storms. That's it. And I believe he was shot with a shotgun.
That's what.
And that's what we got with the EVP session we did last time, or earlier today. But while the shootout was happening, bullets were flying. In this chimney, where the dark spots are bullet holes from that shootout. So if you want to see the bullet holes, 1, 2,
And it almost looks like a butt
and we're
shot,
thinking
like
these dark ones
ricochet.
might be, well, no, these I think, which is really cool. So with that said, we can hand out some equipment. We can try to do the Estes method if anyone wants to use any kind of equipment. We have,
What if we did that in the office?
you got stuff. They've investigated numerous times too, so
Yeah.
we're gonna do the Estes method. Does anyone want a K2 just to see if they get any spikes or
I'll
whatnot?
take
And then
a
I'll go over.
Crystal? Hey, two? No. Josh? Ben?
I am. Thank you.
Is there anybody in here that would like to communicate with us? Me?
Thank you.
What's your name?
What? Anyhow.
No, I also have a microphone. I'm going to do this for me.
Oh yeah.
How did you die?
The EMF.
If that's you, can you spike the K2 meter for me again?
No. Why? Near me.
Pull this over a little bit further just because.
Brad.
Ghost.
I know.
Hey Dave, there's an emergency. I need you to come out right now.
Who cares? Awesome. You guys.
What are you saying? I'm sorry.
Good day.
Are you joking with me? My name's Alex. What is your
Shot.
name? My name's Alex. What is your name?
Bad.
Yo, look at that going off, bro.
Your family.
Alex. Is your phone in your pocket?
I mean, my phone is in my pocket, but
It just stopped. It just stopped.
Can you confirm your age?
I don't know. It's still going on.
Two.
Look at that.
2.
If you're in here with us, can you spike the K2 meter?
Somebody in the bank that you were with that shot
Your
down?
phone wasn't in your right pocket, was it? It was in your right pocket.
It was in my right pocket, but look how close I had to be.
Are you 30?
Yeah.
Not my. It wasn't my phone.
Left.
Are you 28?
No, nothing in my ear.
Dude, that was just going crazy.
Yeah.
Did you get it on camera?
It was at the wrong angle.
Shit.
I was turning it and I did get it lighting up a little bit, but.
I am.
Is there someone in this room with us right now that was lighting the K2 meter up?
Were you helping?
Can you light it up again
What?
right now?
Did you fire a gun?
Yeah.
I don't want you to shoot right now.
Ow.
Can you light it up to the first
Are you
one?
happy that we're here talking to you?
The next green one?
This.
Dang, bro, that's crazy.
It was just going
That's so crazy.
Help!
Yeah, I can see now I'm standing right where I was.
Yeah, and it's not going off.
Hey!
Let me make sure it wasn't the necrophonic, because that was full red, right?
Yeah, 'cause I even have my hand over it too.
It's full red.
What? Munition!
Vibrating? No, I'm doing it. Alright.
Oops.
They are not circus animals. They will not perform on TV.
He's here with us.
Yeah. Because there's someone in this room with us right now.
You can use our energy to communicate with us if you need to. Okay.
Can you tell us how many people are in this room, including people who are not alive?
4.
4? So there's me, my friend Rob. Alex, this is Rob. And 2 others. Yes or no?
Yes. Very, very smart. Yeah.
Alright. In my vest, how many fingers am I holding up?
Just heard Alex. Robert. Done.
Can you answer that one question? How many fingers am I holding up inside my vest?
4. Again. What's your name?
Rob.
Died.
Thank them again. Thank you.
When did you die?
We're gonna have to go. Thank you for chatting with us. Alright. That was crazy.
Settled into the area right after the Civil War. He settled in Oakdale in 1867 near Abbott's store, built in 1880s. For whatever reason, they decided to change the name to Abbott for 2 years. So it was Abbott for a couple years, so it started as Oakdale, then it became Abbott, then it switched back to Oakdale, and then finally it was changed to Zephyrhills in 1914 when the town was officially incorporated. As you all know, he loved the breezes of the zephyrs and the hills, and he put that all together and he named it Zephyrhills, which is pretty cool. On November 11th, 1886, a gentleman called Simon Temple purchased 280 acres. If anyone would like to guess how much 280 acres cost in 1886?
$150.
Again, 280 acres. It's a lot of acres. Probably a little bit more than a nickel. But what do you think?
150.
150? It's funny because I would think the same thing. I would think a very low number. It's actually $1,026 and 69 cents.
Giggity.
Chris does have the oldest map that he could find.
The oldest one I can find in 4 weeks' time. So this is the Black Square Zephyrhills.
And he also has the famous south entrance columns
I know,
of Zephyrhills in the 1920s.
I'm sure there's older ones, but this is what I can come up with.
So Oakdale Baptist Church is right behind us. It was built in 1870. What? I just said he had the famous south entrance
gate.
column.
Okay,
Okay, we're going to talk about the
I
church
didn't
now.
hear her say that. This is the gates.
Oakdale Baptist Church was built in 1870. They held outdoor meetings. There where the first Methodist church was finally built in 1914. So for a long time, they had outdoor church services, okay, for almost, 50 years. Starting in 1808, outdoor meetings were held, and they were sponsored by 6 Mile Pond Church. In 1902, the Lakeview Baptist Church was formed. The name change and new vision begins on August 8th. August 8th, 1912, the first Methodist church was founded with 30 members. They met in a dining room in a local home, and in 1913 they commenced on their new $5,000 building on the corner of 5th Avenue and 10th Street.
Check buy anything for $5,000.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that this was backwards.
Okay.
In September 18th, there was a celebration of the laying of the Cornerstone Church. The bricks have arrived on the ground. So it's September 18th of
14.
Year of.
The statement before.
Okay, sorry.
2014, I believe.
Okay. So that's the church. We don't have any spooky recollections of this church, although I'm sure there are some.
We're going to get to the spooky stuff.
We are going to get to the spooky stuff. This is more of the historical stuff. We have a lot more really cool spooky stories coming up.
So actually, we could just turn around and.
I just saw something go across there.
We could walk to the front of it.
Sorry. I just saw like a straight no joke miss. These little girls, really to keep them out of trouble, to keep them off the streets. It was built in 1915, and this was considered a work progress administration project by a
With
gentleman
mufflers
called-
at the time.
Yeet.
Yeah. So the really cool part about the whole thing is that, as you can see, it's made different. It looks different. It's built different. So as you can see, these are rocks. So these aren't just any rocks. These are native rock quarried from the Hillsborough River. So we do have a lot of spooky accounts from this building, and a big part of that, and the reason why we theorize there's a lot of energy and spirits happening in here, is simply because of the items that it's made from. If you're going to pull energy like that from the Hillsborough River, this rock has seen some stuff, right? So it was originally built, like I said, to help keep children off the streets and house family activities. So let's talk about the spooky accounts. Who here has ever gone into a room or gone into a building and felt really heavy energy? That's a big part of paranormal investigating. The biggest tool that you have is yourself. So people who've been in this, not just paranormal investigators, but just regular people, heavy energy is felt, and cold spots felt throughout the building was thought because of the quarry rocks, right? That's what they were theorizing.
It holds its energy, it gives off energy.
A woman named Juanita Giote said, and I quote, "It's just creepy in here. All alone, there were noises, gusts of air, and at the very least, the feeling of a place that has housed the gamut of memories, joys, as well as sadness." So there's a lot of energy in there, as I said. So that's a really neat place. And now we get to go to a place that Chris and I have personally investigated, and that's the Zephyrhills house. And we get to let you in, which is super cool.
Last time, I unlocked the door while we were talking to everyone, and without saying anything, I opened the door, this little girl jumped, and everyone freaked out. I thought half of them were going to jump the fence. It was the funniest thing.
No, there was 41 people all staring at us intently. And the girl screamed, and everybody else screamed, and they all like ran. It was really, really funny. And the last person through, you can just shut the door. Okay, guys. So what's really cool about the Zephyrhills house is that Chris and I were personally invited by Main Street to investigate this location. And not only did we investigate, but we brought our team members along. And we actually found some really grade A Class A evidence. And we're going to show you that here in just a second. But I'm going to give you some history has a lot of history. In February of 1909, Captain Howard Jeffries, he's a Civil War veteran, came looking for a site, and he purchased this home in August of 1999. That's when everything, or excuse me, 1909, when everything was finalized. Tradition has it that while being cooled by the gentle zephyr breezes blowing into Zephyrhills from neighboring hills up north, Jeffries coined the name Zephyrhills on March 10, 1911. 1910, Captain Jeffries stated that Nolan of Tampa will erect him a 2-story house with suitable porches on the corner of 5th Avenue and 8th Street. This would be known as the Jeffries House and is still standing today. The existing carriage house was used for a stable and feeding location for the horse-drawn buggies and
This
carriages.
is what they would have looked
We
like.
actually got to investigate that location as well, and that's behind us.
That's just the horse and buggy that would have been in front of the carriage house. Back in the day.
The captain's health started to decline in 1911, and they actually ended up selling off all of his shares in this, and he actually ended up passing away in 1936. So let's talk about our investigation, because that was a really big deal for us. Faith reached out to us, invited us to investigate this, and we were able to give her some really amazing evidence. Danny, I'm glad you're sitting right there.
Yes.
So one of
He's like, I don't know if I'm right.
So, the whole team was downstairs. I'll give you a little heads up. We were already told by Faith that she was experiencing a lot of heavy energy and
In one of the
activity
rooms.
upstairs. But at this specific moment, I was sitting exactly where Danny was sitting right over there. And everybody else everyone else was downstairs. I knew nobody was up there because I was sitting there. I was kind of the guardian to the thing. Also, keep in mind they didn't have all these chairs here, so there was only 2 places to sit, and one of them was there. So that's why I was resting.
And there was a little couch right there. where
There was
2
a
people
little
could sit
couch
in that one spot.
And that was
And
it.
Faith's chair, because her desk was here.
Which I certainly wasn't going to use her desk. So, sitting there, and everyone's just chilling, and all of a sudden, I hear this bang, really loud bang. Like something has been thrown or knocked, like something had been tossed. It really scared me, and very few things scare me, but I knew no one was up there.
She
So, of
actually
course-
levitated off the stairs.
So of course, I'm sitting there, I'm sitting right where Danny's sitting, so of course I'm the closest one. So now I have to go upstairs and check this out, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I go upstairs. I knew prior, because I've been up there before, that there was a, what am I trying to say, Chris?
You
That
want me
there
to do
was,
this?
no, I can do it.
Broom.
Yeah, thank you. There was a broom in the corner, green broom. I remember because I saw it. This broom now was in the middle of the room. I cannot explain to you how that broom moved from the corner into the middle of the room. It makes no logical sense. I heard it land. I knew it moved.
Not just her, we all heard it.
Also, its placement, it couldn't have just fallen because it had to slide
It
a lot.
was
So-
about
So
8
there
foot
was,
from the wall,
trust me,
from where it
because
was leaning.
I love to debunk my stuff, because that means I don't have to get scared. But in this case, I really truly feel in my gut that something or someone moved that broom, threw it, tossed it, was kind of annoyed.
Now with that said, just so you know the layout, once you go up the stairs, which we can't do, so I'm gonna tell you. You go up the stairs, you make a short turn to the left, there's a bathroom, and then right in front of you is a room directly to the right, and then one room off to the left. The room off to the left had the broom leaning against the door the whole time, never moved, and all of a sudden, bam, and it was in the middle of the room. The other thing up there in that room that they said they had mouse traps or rat traps, however you want to look, they always set them up because there's something that they just had, because no one was in the house a lot. So anyway, Faith would be down here, someone else would be with her, they'd hear the rat traps go off. They'd go up, the rat traps are never touched, but they heard them snap.
Yeah.
Now, continue. Or do we need to go to this one?
Yeah, I will tell you, and actually, I know that these guys can attest to what we're just about to show you. Getting this type of evidence, creating evidence, is very rare when you're doing investigations. So we're very proud of this evidence. If you go ghost hunting, you'll find, ghosts just don't appear. I wish they would. We'd all be rich. If Chris and I would have a million ghost hunting shows if ghosts just like appeared in front of us when we wanted them to. But Faith, who's the executive director, had stated that when she went to the restroom, she felt like someone was watching her. This was one of the big reasons why she wanted us to come here. How concerning. So I was
Every
like,
time she go to the bathroom, somebody watching her in the corner in the bathroom, she'd feel it,
Yeah.
like staring eyes, like someone's there, like they got her in the house, you know what I mean?
It's actually really funny you just said that, because as you were talking just about the staircase and stuff like that, literally someone was like this around the corner of the doorway back
Very
there.
well
I was just like,
So yes.
I'm like, I got a camera going everything at this point now.
so, Chris, go ahead.
So Faith told me the story. So while everyone else was investigating everywhere else, I said, okay, Faith, because no one was really over here. I went in the bathroom with this, the FLIR. Okay, basically it gives you heat signatures. Okay, if there's nothing there, it's going to be cold because depending the temperature of whatever the room is, it's going to be unless something was there.
And real quick, I just want to show you. No, you're too close.
I don't know why, but
Oh, it says I could not say. Gosh darn it.
it's probably full.
I wanted to show you, so as you can see me, it's important that you see how it works.
So red is for heat, blue is for very
Obviously,
cold.
I'm super hot. No, I'm kidding. But I'm physically
She
warm.
really is, but I won't.
But I'm, physically warm. it's
So I
important that you
sat
see
in
that.
there on the toilet with my pants up, I wasn't going, just so y'all know. And I
Thank you
started,
for clarifying.
I started to communicate with whatever may have been there. So the cool thing, it's 5 pictures I'm gonna show you, and I'm gonna read off the series of numbers because they go in order so I can't lie. Okay, so this ain't made up, it's just so you guys know. As soon as I sat down, I took a series of pictures. This is picture number 563. As you look, it's just a blue wall with some yellowing, just a little different temperature change. Okay? Then,
Yeah.
okay. Then, so this is 563. Then 572, if you look, looks like a head manifesting.
Or something warm.
See the blue, which means it's cooler. Spirits that's where you walk through cold spots because they draw the energy to start manifesting. So all the energy's gone out of the wall. It's not yellow or red. It's now turning blue because it's getting cold because it's drawing all that so it can manifest. See, looks like the head started. Now you see how it's fading back away. Now this is 572. Okay, now 575. You now get a head, a torso, 2 arms, and feet against the wall. Head, arms, body, feet. While I'm sitting on the toilet with the camera against the corner where she says she always feels it.
Probably should have had your pants down in case you shouldn't.
Now this is 575. Now this is 577. So still, while I was communicating, it's pretty much the same thing, but you can see the head. Now you see the arms are more better. You can see more like the torso area, and then the feet are even a little cooler. So it's almost the same shot as the other one, but it's a little more defined.
But it's also showing me the longevity.
Of it sitting there while I'm asking questions. I didn't have a recorder, I was just snapping pictures and just asking questions. So 577, so now 584, there's a bunch of pictures in between, but I picked the best ones. Now all of a sudden, it's starting to dissipate, and now the wall's going back to yellow. The red's barely there, so it's starting to fade away.
I can tell you right now that
Faith almost dropped her pants at that moment. No, just
But I
kidding.
think it's also important to note that, yes, sadly, there are paranormal groups that will fake evidence, that will do all types of stuff. Telling you right now, I do not have the capabilities to fake whatever the heck that is.
Not on a FLIR camera. You
The
cannot.
FLIR camera
No,
is way too complicated.
here.
And also,
Yeah.
even if we were
It's
to
just
try,
starting, it's starting to manifest.
let's be honest,
And it literally looks like this.
even if, someone was to press their body against the wall.
I'm thinking maybe a Civil War soldier. It could be residual, that's where he always was, so he's just always there, and she just notices when she's going.
Yeah.
and that's just his spot that he knows. Maybe he was standing at attention, who knows?
For us, for paranormal,
More time for research and finding more puzzle pieces to build the full story.
for paranormal investigators, that is really a grade A piece of evidence, and we're very proud of it. Also, the very last thing, I actually had a chat with Faith today. If you guys know Faith, she's like all business. She's a great lady, really sweet. This is not like a ghosty, like, she is a business professional that is the executive director of Main Street, okay? So this is, like, she is not, so what's funny is that she came over to me and she goes, I just need you to know something. And I was like, oh yeah, what's going on? She goes, last night, there was all types of commotion upstairs, like banging.
She
like
was here in the
banging.
Jeffrey's house, so this was upstairs.
She said, I was really trying not to freak out. So, you know, for her to come to me and say that, there's definitely some stuff going on upstairs. So, oops.
So when,
Did you just see go ahead.
I'm just saying, when you guys get up, if you want to look, the bathroom door is shut, but this is the bathroom door. In the toilet's on the right, like facing this way. So that's the corner, the left, well, if you're looking at the left corner by where the red broom handle is, or whatever that is, mop, that is inside the bathroom is where these pictures were taken. So you can at least look in and see that area if you would like. And then we'll head over to the theater.
Yep.
Whoever wants to look
Does
and
anyone
see
have
it.
any questions?
They want to take a picture or two. Guys, if you find anything, you know you need to send it to us
Oh,
so we can start.
I'm pretty sure I just caught at least 3 or 4 things. Yeah, it literally it literally looked like fingers and a like half a head, going like
When we
that.
first got here, and everyone was watching it.
Dude, I'm pretty sure I got
I was
2
standing
orbs
up there.
and
Something
something
peeked over
peeking.
and was
That's
watching this
awesome. I
whole
can't
shadow figure, and I told them all. And then later on, someone else seen the same thing. A shadow figure was looking at us, like, no, we didn't need that information. And I just seen you looking. So, this account she gave me, there's 2 different accounts. One is wild, okay. One, it's that hike. The first account they said was that while they're in there doing errand stuff, pictures and things will fall off the walls and break. It's a constant with them. They just put stuff up and they drop it. Or they'll break, or they'll put something down and then they go to find it. They don't find it, but then they find it on the desk over. So it's been moved. The second account, which really got it, was there's friendly people around Zephyrhills. It's awesome. Is that I guess when the owner took it over, he took out all the drop ceilings. As we walked, the drop ceilings gone. As he was right here, as they moved the drop ceiling down, they found a wallet. The wallet was full. And when he took it home and researched it, the ID, the license in it, was from a person that just became missing. They don't know how it got there. But he went home, he researched it, found out the guy was missing, he took the wallet home, and apparently he still has the wallet at home. But once they took the wallet out, all the activity stopped. They still haven't found that guy to this day, and I don't even have the name yet. We're trying to figure out, research to find out his name. But apparently, like the day before, he became missing, and then they pulled the drop ceiling down, and the wallet was up. How to get there, we don't know. We don't know exactly, and she said it was the owner, so I think it's the gentleman that owns it now. And I don't know when he bought it, so like I said, research-wise, we're not sure, but apparently he still has the wallet at home. So maybe we can get the name and try to research that way. But then after that, just recently they said the accounts of the pictures falling off, so now activity's coming back. And a lot of pastime. There's nothing that's really been negative there. So, done? Move on. So that's a cool story to know. Through research, we haven't been able to figure out this part of the street yet and what this whole building section is, besides what you see now. So I can't give much account on this. So we're working on it, so that'll be further. We're going to go now stand in front of the wonderful gentleman's quarters.
Heard it's the best barber shop in town, you guys.
And then we'll give you the story.
She doesn't want, the wife doesn't want to mess with anything. I do have one story if you guys want to hear another spooky one.
Yeah, we'll stop and give that one quick story, and then I will show the picture. First cement block building. And go to find out resources 1, 2, 3, 4 windows. There's 2 side windows. If you look on the side of the building, you can see that.
This building is also called the Francisco Building.
That's what it, yes. The Francisco building, that's who built it. That's what it originally, from what we figured, that's basically what it is.
It was hard to find that too. I know that was hard for you guys to get that.
Yes, and here's the Francisco building, the drugstore itself, when it was open, where he had, and it says right here in the corner, Francisco building. So that's what it looked like. And then right there says Francisco building, I think, yes. So if you look, you can see the 2 original windows, which you can't see here because they're.
Band of bank robbers.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I'm showing the Zephyr Hotel and you're talking about the bank robbery.
But
Go ahead, no, go ahead.
okay, a band of bank robbers blew the safe of the American State Bank and attempted to rob the bank of about $5,000. This was in 1918. In the melee following the first explosion in the bank, in which 20 or more shots were said to have been exchanged between the robbers, bullets flew into nearby buildings, and citizens and Mr. Storms, a banker, was killed by one of the bandits. That's who I was trying to communicate with earlier. I was trying to see if that was Mr. Storms. In 1916, they needed a real hotel, so they built a 2-story hotel building with 4 storerooms and a hotel lobby on the first floor and 25 rooms. Sorry, I'm trying to read this. My brain's fried. So it only cost them $12,000 to build, and the new Hotel Zephyr was open. The dining room was officially open on Thanksgiving Day from 12 to November 29th, and they had a large feast. How much do you think the huge Thanksgiving feast was in 1912?
Hotel itself?
1917.
Nice.
No, it would just be per
Here's the
person.
hotel, the bank that got robbed.
It actually was 75 cents.
Now the bank that got robbed. This is a older
75
photo
cents back then
of Hotel
was like
Zephyr with the bank on the end. This is the bank that got robbed.
So the parking lot would have been the hotel, right?
Yes, the hotel or the bank. Yeah, the hotel and the bank. So there was a gap in between, so the bullets flew and then the chimney, and they got caught. So as you see, there was the bank, First Street Bank, or First State Bank, and then there's the hotel. So.
I'm trying to take a picture. Okay. Sorry. Marketing. Okay, thank you. I'm like, redo it.
So now this is all knocked down, obviously, at this point. And now, as you see, this is pretty much what we see now. That's next. That's what we see now. And that's this building when it was the Citizens Bank. And then it just sat and they just opened this, so.
Yeah, they were actually without a bank for 20 years.
From
It
the
says
shootout?
in February. No, this was prior. So February.
Or the
Yes,
bank.
from the shootout. Yes, you are correct. I'm sorry. February 19th, 1928, the bank failed to open. So Zephyrhills was without a bank for
There,
20
and now
years.
this is your building.
It's kind of a problem if you lived here and you get your money.
Yeah, 'cause it's not like they had bank cards back then.
Right.
Oh,
Cash
wow.
app.
Like a classic Beetle.
Yeah, there was no Cash App.
No Cash App.
No Zelly.
Yes, now to the telephone office, which is actually a big part of
The growth.
the growth of Zephyrhills. I got a few more seats over here.
This must have been where the bonfire is.
Story of growth and connectivity for the entire Zephyrhills.
I'm going to walk around and show you the picture, which is really not any different while she's giving the
So in August of 1946, two gentlemen called James and Joseph Tommy Jarrett entered into a partnership, and they agreed to form Jarrett Communications Company. So these were two brothers. They needed to install the well-needed telephone system for the
really
area.
hasn't changed much, just missing the sign, right?
However, Zephyrhills failed
Yeah.
to get
Missing the
this
sign.
done prior to 1932. But James had worked for the Southern Bell Telephone Company, so he basically knew what to do, right? So although rural telephone service, let me back up. Long distance was now able to be provided. So they formed a telephone company, guys, okay? Is everything okay? Okay, well, yeah, it's all right. I just want to make sure. So long distance was now able to be provided. So this was a really big deal. So how they used it was with two iron wire circuits, and they connected it to Plant City. So Zephyrhills was able to talk to Plant City. So that was like the first big thing. Then once that was up and running, then in 1953 they routed it to Tampa. So now Zephyrhills, Plant City, and Tampa can talk to each other. Again, this is a big thing, growing business, right? With this all completed the transition from manual phones to dial-up phones. With that growth and success, in April of 1963, the small town businesses officially became part of the General Telephone Company, or what we now know as GTE today. So again, I like this story because it's without this and without those two brothers, this wouldn't be here at all.
No more switchboards, went to regular dial phones.
Yeah.
The old,
And for whatever reason, they weren't
And then-
able to do it prior.
and they went from 100 to 500 within, I think, 3 years. That's how many phones they added.
And now it's kind of
And now it's whatever right now.
So I did hear through the grapevine that Faith is maybe hoping that this will eventually be her office. But
So, who knows?
we
I
just
don't
got a
know.
couple more
That'd be
stops,
pretty cool,
guys,
though.
and then we're
Right now, if we just turn around, it's easier. This corner building here, instead of everyone having to walk.
we have to walk that way anyway, though.
I know, but it's a good view when it
Okay.
comes to the picture. So basically, this building on the end, the second building, the taller one, was added. That was just a alleyway. This was the original town hall. First ever town hall built, where that green, the second green awning is, that was the original jail. And here's a cool picture. It's got, you can almost, well you can't, it says City Hall here, but you can see the police car from the jail sitting in front of it, which is really cool. The police cars are sitting.
So the sad thing is we don't have a whole lot of research on the jail, but I will tell you, on August 26th of 1921, a guy named William Mountain was brutally murdered.
Oh, nice.
And there was a gentleman called Eugene Blakely that was arrested, but everybody in the research denies that he had any involvement. So, sounds like kind of shady stuff. Not entirely sure. There's not, other than that, we can't find a whole lot of research on it. But we're definitely going to continue to dig more. It was built somewhere between 1911 and 1916. It's currently a law office.
So there's a glove if anyone needs one. Michael Jackson, O.J. Simpson, I don't know, but we will now walk across.
That might have the DNA on it.
Careful, honey.
I know. There's people coming. They're waiting.
Well thought of in the community. Everybody has really great things to say. And they loved it. It was like the local CVS, local drugstore. The lady in the last tour, she worked with the granddaughter who started Newcombs, and she's still a pharmacist. So it's just kind of, I just wanted to show you guys Newcombs. Everyone seems to like Newcombs.
I like to say it was the Walmart of its time because it had cameras, it had everything.
House in 1911.
So I'm guessing that's the
in
top.
1913, it was sold to
No,
the
no, it
Bob
was
family,
knocked down,
to
gone.
these, and later became to be known as the Bolt Apartments. Very Tampa Bay Lightning House. Stood for more than 50 years. Then it was knocked down to become the new post office parking lot in 1975. And then again it was leveled, and now it's what is known as Town Square. So that's where we're sitting. We do want to give a couple of counts of the Oakland Cemetery. Just so you guys know, it's very hard to investigate cemeteries. They're private property. Cemetery owners typically frown on that. You usually have to get a lot of, there's a lot of red tape.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a misconception that paranormal investigators are always in cemeteries, because we're really not. It's hard to get in there.
Very.
But the Oakside Cemetery was built in 1910. How much do you think a plot of land was in 1910?
Hold on, wait for it.
What did you say?
Was it a nickel?
It was not a nickel, but you're not that far off. It was $10.
Wow.
And to give you a comparison, I think nowadays it's 10 grand.
Yeah.
So, after, sorry, go ahead.
When that gate was built, this fountain was built.
I think that fountain's still there.
Yeah, and she's going to tell you who it was named after. And
So in January of
so in the
1934,
gates is the fountain.
they
Three-tier.
changed from the Oakdale Cemetery Association to the hands of the city of Zephyrhills as, I'm so sorry guys, as the Cemetery Association could not keep the grounds properly. So the Federal Emergency Relief Administration was called in to clear everything. In 1939 it changed hands again
I give you
to
the
the
picture. Did
Zephyrhills
you get it?
Oakside Cemetery
No.
Association. And you wanted me to talk about the fountain, right?
Why it was, yes, just so you know, the main gates and the fountain were built by
Bernice Richards Tarbox of Samuel Richards,
yes.
and is in memory of his daughter Bernice, who died of pneumonia the same year. So that's why you have the fountain.
The big fountain.
A couple spooky accounts. Obviously, Civil War soldiers have been seen a lot in full period costume. Weird mist appears around the gates and around the fountain, prompting Bernice.
Nice.
Sense of someone following you while walking around, and voices are heard while you sit in silence. So,
Typical cemetery jargon.
So,
We have one more and then your story.
what's the one more thing? Oh. I get so excited about a story, I always forget
know.
about this one. The GAR building, or the Grand Army of the Republic Hall. It was built in 1910 and it served as the city's first public auditorium. This building was really important
That's it now.
because
So
it
it went from there.
it was here that the vote was to incorporate the city of Zephyrhills.
From
So
here.
that's why that building is really important. It is known today as the American Legion.
And now this is it today.
And
Oh wow.
guess how much the admission is to get in back in 1910.
50 cents?
Watch it, baby.
No,
It's
actually,
either
it's a
15
nickel.
cents or 25 cents.
So like music here.
Like
Hell, that's it.
3 nickels or 5 nickels.
So this is the building. Then this is it now.
Okay,
Yep.
so if you guys have heard nothing of this tour, of our tour, I really want you to listen to this one story, and I don't need notes because it is like ingrained in my
This
soul.
is all about that story. No, this just means we got cool pictures after that.
We do have cool pictures. And this story is world famous. As a matter of fact, I can tell you right now that that if you go online and type in Von Kossel, you will find a whole lot of stuff about what I'm just about to
Numerous
tell you.
books, articles, accounts.
Not like I need notes, but I just want.
But that's
if I
him.
had the pages.
In this picture I'm about to walk around, that's him. And then the whole story you're hearing about
So-
is the girl that she's about to tell you the story about.
So the gentleman I'm going to talk to you about,
Alright.
he refers to himself as Count Von Kossel. No, this is not Count Dracula. This
It's
is
his
not
cousin.
Count Chocula. This is not from Sesame Street. But this is about a man who called himself Count Von Kossel. And it is
Relative.
officially attached to Zephyrhills. But we have to go back because this whole story actually starts in Germany, where Von Kossel's from. Von Kossel's real name is Karl Tanzler. He is in Germany, and he marries a lady in Germany. Has 2 kids. He comes over to Key West, Florida, and he is a radiologist. Back in his younger days, he said that he had a dream where his grandmother came to him and talked about the love of his life. Apparently, the love of his life was not his wife, and I'll tell you why. He's over in Key West, and he's a radiology technician, so he has medical knowledge. And in walks a young 19-year-old woman named Elena Hoyes. And this young woman was married at the time. She had miscarried, and the husband, who was a really nice guy, was done with her. And so he left her, nice guy, but she was actually ended up getting tuberculosis. When Von Kossel laid his eyes on Elena, he became obsessed, fell in love with her. That was the lady in the dream. That was it. So he kind of befriended her, befriended the family, and wanted to help her with her tuberculosis diagnosis. So he used his medical knowledge as a radiology technician, kind of convinced her that he knew what he was doing and tried to help her. Long story short, very sadly, Elena ended up dying of tuberculosis. The family put together a nice funeral for this young woman, and this is where everything starts getting crazy.
Then, all of a sudden, maybe you can kind of get to what's going on with this picture.
So this
Dracula's
man
cousin.
decides to go into her mausoleum and steal her body.
Frankenstein. Never mind.
And for 7 years, this man reconstructs her out of piano wire chemicals through his medical knowledge. He serenades her every day. He has her. There's no kids here. He was totally sleeping with her in his bed. Okay, like this is not cool stuff.
So he was a
Necrophiliac.
I was just saying, I'm
And,
Greek. We invented the word, so it's cool.
He was dancing with her every day. This man was completely obsessed with this woman. He stole her from the mausoleum. So
Here's the mausoleum. The first picture is the mausoleum that he took her from, and the second is where she supposedly lays to rest now that the family had to hide and redo, so he didn't know where to find her. So the top one is where he stole her from.
Totally skipped to the end of the freaking.
Keep going. What do you mean?
So
They don't know everything.
no, you just skipped to basically the end.
No, we
This
didn't.
is why I say the stories.
Stay the story. I'm just
Okay.
talking about the picture.
parents, all right.
Story
Very
picture.
So the sister, her sister, you guys are laughing. So her sister knew something was up because that's how family is, right? So her sister went to the house and found him in bed with her sister that's been dead for 7 years. Immediately calls the cops, right?
So
here's
this is
the-
7 years later.
7 years later, he's like kept her. Do you have the picture of her?
I'm getting there.
Okay, you have a picture of her. It's not as crazy as you think, but it kind of is.
I'll blur it out on YouTube.
It's gonna like kind of weird. It's weird. So,
So
calls the
this
cops.
is his gorgeous, after how many years did we say?
7 years.
Okay, so this is when the police found
Found
her.
her in his
This
bed.
is one of the photos they took.
Go that.
So the sister knew something was wrong, and the
Oh,
sister
that's-
went to his
oh,
home
that's
and
so
found
weird.
her.
Gorgeous, huh?
Found her body.
Yeah, no.
He had reconstructed
That's all
her
his
with
reconstruction
piano wire,
photos.
chemicals, makeup. Actually, the
She
wig.
was never embalmed, too.
The wig
a
that's
fact.
on her
Never
hair,
embalmed.
that's on her head, is actually her hair.
It was a very stinky
So he was
room,
very
man. That's for
fastidious
sure.
with his reconstruction. So Here's the problem. He didn't technically murder anybody, so there wasn't a whole lot that they could do. Also, because of the statute of limitations, they couldn't get him for stealing a body. It'd been too long. So literally, he could walk free. The first question he asked the judge was, when can I get my Elena back? The judge was not about to have that. So the judge, like Chris said, the family took her back, put her in a different mausoleum, supposedly locked her up. So this is where Zephyrhills comes in, because up until this point, this has all happened in the U.S. Remember that wife I told you about, the wife in Germany? She's still around, they're still married at this point.
Not now. But.
No, at this point in the story. So, duh!
Somebody's sleeping on the couch later.
I told him not to interrupt me. So the wife comes over, fully supports this whole situation, comes over, she moves to Zephyrhills. He moves with her to Zephyrhills. The reason why this is a Zephyrhills story is the day that he died, when they found him dead, he had an effigy. 1952, he had an effigy of Elena, completely wax structure, built of her, laying in his bed. So he never let this woman go. He also never divorced his wife, and the wax figure was quite horrific. The theory goes, this is what some people say, that he switched the bodies. He ended up keeping Elena's original body and switched it with a wax figure. But either way, they said that he still had the full effigy when he passed away. So he ended up still dying with Elena.
In a death mask. That was.
Yeah.
So his wife was okay.
I guess.
I think this is my opinion. This was way back in the early 1900s. I think that there was a financial reason that she had to stay married to him. She had 2 kids with him. I think she just stayed married for finances.
Waiting for his death?
Yeah, because he clearly was obsessed.
Now this part of it is going to make you think he's even crazier. So after all that happened, he actually had a airplane that he had on the side of his property.
Well, this was after he was found guilty.
After he was found, yes. But he still had it there when it all happened. But it was there when they took pictures. He basically stated that he made this ship to put her in it,
so airplane.
So they can go to the atmosphere or the stratosphere, and all the gamma rays and rays from wherever would bring her back to life, and they will live together.
That was his theory.
That was his theory. So
I mean, back in the 1900s,
it's probably not too far of a stretch.
Yeah.
So this is
But
one of
a
them,
full-fledged plane ready to take her.
and then this is
You said, like,
another photo of it.
Ed Gein around. Ed Gein was the case, wasn't it, for the Texas Chainsaw
Oh, wow.
Massacre?
And
he was
then
known more for,
that
I
one,
think
if
he
you didn't
stole, like,
get
10
it.
bodies
There
and
you go,
like,
yeah.
Well, and this
So
is
this
the
is
story,
his
sadly,
wonderful
that's kind
airplane
of put
that he built
Zephyrhills
to
on the
bring
back
it
of
to
the
the
basically because he
stratosphere.
died.
You best not come my way,
It
boy.
really is a Florida problem.
where did he get hit?
I'm sorry? That's a good question, honey. Did they say, is he buried in the Oakside Cemetery?
yes,
Okay,
he's very here.
so he is buried in the Oakside Cemetery. Again, Carl Tanzler is his legal name.
Right.
That if you look up Von Kossel, you will find a billion and one things on this. You will find YouTube accounts. You will find actual books written it's called Von Kossel, the whole book written all about him. He's very fascinating, and it's a nationwide story. What's very interesting about this too, I'll kind of end it here, the media actually fell in love with him. This was back in the day. They didn't vilify him, they felt sorry for him, and they almost saw this as a dark love story. So, of course, again, this might be the sign of the times and how we've progressed as a community. But, you know, the question is this overtly romantic or is it incredibly disgusting? I think we can all come to our
He's
own
nuts,
conclusions.
but that's beside.
But he definitely,
Yeah,
yeah.
but that's like above and beyond, like to keep her in our house. From everything I've researched, it says anywhere from 5 years to 7 to 9. So anyway, even if it's only 5, that's way too many.
Yeah, the minimum we found is 5.
Let alone 7 or 9.
Yeah.
Just the thought of it actually starting to do said act is already, you're gone.
Exactly.
I mean, he
Once
just
you
went and
steal her
left
from
that
a mom,
casket by
and they
himself,
also had said that looking at the picture, I think that might have been kind of offset. but they said that he went and he blew up her mausoleum and then left town and came to Zephyrhills. But then seeing that photo, maybe that was before that happened or after, I don't know. But the second photo I showed you is supposedly her new one, and they didn't.
Yeah,
they
they
did not
basically-
disclose where she's at.
Actually, I saw that in the videos I watched.
Okay.
That he blew up the mausoleum after
Poor-
she was found.
Right.
Because basically, if he can't have her, then
No
nobody
one
can
could.
have her. And then he built the effigy of her. Crazy, right?
Oh, so he was thinking that she was still buried in that same one. And
But
blew up
she
the
was
old one.
buried.
Right. They thought he thought they put her back there.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then he blew up that.
But what
Right.
he didn't realize
Was
is
that
they,
she
the
wasn't actually
family
in
put her
there.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
No one knew the location. They didn't disclose it.
So.
Nice to have a cool picture. The 100th anniversary.
Well,
We got a
that
couple other photos, but I mean, it's just.
that is our ghost tour. I want to be cognizant of everyone's time.
Yes.
It is 11:45. We're getting to the witching hour. I want to thank you guys very much.
If anyone wants to go through this and look at any of the other photos, or go through
And we do want to let you know that we do have ghost hunts coming up. We love your support. We want to actually really dig in and do some ghost hunting. And we're
maybe forecast more here.
we're hoping to do some more
Downtown.
ghost hunts here and hopefully maybe some more tours here. But we really love doing the paranormal investigations. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. All right.
Did you have a page or something that you can follow on?
Yes, go to Paranormal Kicks Cancer on Facebook.
Thank you guys.
Not a
Thank you guys
problem.
very much.
Yes, for sure. We will talk.
Thank you.
We will talk to you. Did you? Was it? You enjoyed it?